I request Dr. Devesh Bathla to take over the session. Over to you, sir.
So welcome everyone after the lunch break. Must have been a heavy dose of lunch, and as teachers we are generally ready for lesser attendance post lunch. So while we expect more participants to join in, who we are expecting to join in some time, we would start with the session in the interest of time of everyone. So a very good afternoon to everyone who has joined in, and special good afternoon to those who have sent afternoon messages in the text. So we have Sri Rekha, and we have Nagasenji, Robin Singh sir, and everyone. So welcome you once again. I hope the participants who were there in the first session have again joined in. So we start with the session, and we will not have any mythological inputs, neither are we going to have anything related to Samudra Manthan. But trust me, the detail has been shared via email, via the link to you. I would request you to open that Excel sheet and have a look at the database. Just in case you have had an input on the database, I request you to please use the chat box window and share your inputs. I would also request, just in case somebody hasn't received the data set, to post on the chat box so that I can resend the chat box. So I have structured the session in a way that you would go through the data set using Microsoft Excel. We would spend 5 to 10 minutes on the data set, and we will quickly move on to Tableau, which is the real essence, which is the real flavor of this program. We will quickly go to Tableau, while I also request you to have Tableau installed on your systems and try to open a free trial version on your system so that you can practice. It would be helpful for you for my session as well as the upcoming sessions. So in case you have been able to see the data set.
Sir, can you just go a little bit slower while the hand session?
Okay. So Katir, I think. So we will start from here, and just a moment. So this is the data set that has been shared with you all. This is the data set. Please type yes in case you have received it.
Yes, sir, received, sir. I'm just opening the data.
Okay, very nice. So many of our participants are also versed with the information, and we would be using the chat box. Okay, we would be using the chat box to see your inputs about the data set. Since this session is aimed at obtaining geographical inputs, so my question to you would be, what are the kinds of geographical inputs that you can derive from this data set? What are the kind of geographical inputs that you can derive from this data set? Data set has orders, returns, and users. You have to take time. We are in no hurry, but you have to start responding on the chat box. What are the types of inputs that you can have from this data set? Essentially, geographical. Inputs, insights. You can think of collaborating one or more fields. See, just in case since you have written that, region, state, city is an input. So in statistics, just by looking at a single data item, you cannot get an input. Okay. For example, state, city, province, you can just see the names, but try to club these inputs with another fields which are given. Region with profit sales. Wonderful, Ajay. So Ajay Singh has suggested a good input that region with profit sales, we can also write it region-wise profit and region-wise sales. What else? I also request others to pitch in and join in and keep putting their inputs in the chat box. We want it to be an interactive session. Okay. So you can also see the responses on a single window. So customer, product category, region, state with profit. So very nice, Anshul, and it's a good attempt. I want more people to involve themselves in this learning process and think, may I also look at region-wise shipping mode? Yes. May I also look at region-wise, very nice, region-wise product demand and the bottom line like profit, wonderful. Top line as well. Why not sales, Vidisha? We can also have sales, wonderful. So we have come to very nice state-wise sales. Sarvesh from EESL and Thakur Vikram in region-wise order priority. So I've opened the chat box so you can easily see the data points as well as your peer group responses. Now, we did not think of the second sheet, which is region-wise returns. See, I told you it's an ocean and has a lot of information. Returns. How do you club order ID with returns against their orders? Very nice. Country-wise, country with state of some average profit. Very nice. Who are these users? So I'm going to stop the screen here. I want to discuss like a classroom that, a lot of input goes, a lot of information is available, a lot of data sets are there, but we as a user has to first decide and begin with the end in mind that, okay, this is what geographic inputs that I'm going to derive. I'm sure each one of you has now, very nice, so Sarvesh has also given an update. So most of you could actually sense and interpret from the data point that yes, from this data point, I can leverage the region-wise information. Now, if we go to Excel, why Tableau was required. If we go to Excel once again, I would take a minute here. If I go to Excel once again, I told you, because before hopping on to a solution, we need to problem first. If I was here and I have to draw some summaries out of it, it's a region-wise sale, and I cannot directly put in a graph because The data is huge. This workshop is aimed at visual analytics. Somewhere or the other, I will have to create graphs. But in Microsoft Excel, I cannot directly create graphs because the data is huge. My first step is to create a pivot table. I have to click here. Then I have to go to different sets. I have to say go to state, which is again huge. This doesn't make sense. I have to go to region, maybe southeast, northwest. Then I have to look at the profits or shipping mode or the product category, maybe say subcategory here. If I want to swap here, I will swap here. Then I have to put what is the kind of orders that are being placed. This was the order. Now, if I want to put a graph here, how would things happen? I have to go here and then put a graph. If I have to put up a sales-wise, region-wise profit, then my count of order priority has to be replaced by, I'm just bringing you to the problem, that why there was a problem. Why was Tableau required? Profit. Someone said average profit, sum of profit. I could have changed average here. So this is my average profit. Too many numbers. Wanted to bring a summary here. But again, see, too much on the platter. I am not getting one view of multiple inputs. If I have to get it, I will have to forego one of the things. Say subcategory, I'll have to forego. Then I have to add multiple tables, that what is the east, south, then there's too much of clutter that I have to put in. Then if I pick from here and then I have to select the graphs. For example, here I am now in the region category. For central region, I have to create a graph. I will go here and click on here and then insert the graph. Look at the problem that I am incurring. And then I have to create, and then this graph may look good, may not look good. So this is what the people in the industry or utilizing these tools were experiencing. So these are the kind of challenges that they were experiencing. So there was a problem somewhere. There was a problem, and basis that problem, a solution was recommended. What was the solution which was recommended? The solution was called Tableau. First of all, before going to any solution, we need to understand the problems. Now, how do we do? I request each one of you to open Tableau on your machines. In case you have Tableau, you can type a yes and start logging in, so that I also know that what is the count of people who are using Tableau, so that I can have an image in my mind, okay, that people are practicing. Just in case you have Tableau installed, so very nice, Anshul. So you've taken the lead here, and yes, Kathy is also using Tableau, wonderful. So it means people have installed Tableau, maybe you have installed it earlier and using it, which we really appreciate. So Akhil has said he's also using Tableau, wonderful. If you go to Tableau, I am just sharing my screen here. Now, this kind of tool palette open once you enter Tableau. Otherwise, if you open Tableau, it gives you an option to like this. Most of you would be getting this kind of screen, and the answer to the question opted in the first half was, how can we integrate various data sources using Tableau? So that's how the normal window of Tableau would look like, where various databases can be connected to Tableau, other databases, Spark SQL, Salesforce, etc. If you want to connect to a server, you can connect to Amazon Redshift, Oracle, MySQL, Microsoft SQL. But for ease of understanding of everyone, we would be, so either you can connect it to Microsoft Excel that has been shared with you, text file, JSON file, PDF, spatial, statistical, so there is more to it. If you click on more, it gives you more options that, what are the kind of extensions that you have. See, too much on the platter. But what do? We would simplify things. How? Click on the sample superstore. It would be available in your Tableaus. It would be available. I want you to connect and reach this kind of screen. I'm giving you time, practice and reach this screen. Open your Tableau machines and reach this screen. Log into Tableau. It would prompt you about this superstore. And then you click on the sample superstore. It is inbuilt in Tableau. To see your chat boxes, if you are able to. So Radha Krishnan has said yes. Okay, so they have installed Tableau and I want you to reach this particular position where you can connect to the data set. Why we are practicing? So that you can learn. If we do not practice at your end, trust me, you won't be able to learn and will forget everything. Take 2 minutes, install and reach this spot. We have done this kind of trainings earlier as well, but people who have practiced during the training have reaped more benefits than those who have just seen or had a listen. So here we would be working on geographical inputs that would be essentially kind of maps that we will be using. And for this, please log in and open the Excel, not necessarily the Excel, but the sheet that has been given. I am sharing my screen once again and want you to open the same sheet under Tableau. And this is how on the left hand side figures and data points would look like. So that's how the things would look like. On the left, you would have different kind of data points or variables which are there. The system gives you a support and shares a small symbol on the left hand side of each data point. If anybody is struggling to reach this spot on their machine, is not able to reach this tool palette or canvas or empty screen, just post on the chat box so that we can support you. But it's pretty easy. Open Tableau, immediately you use the trial version and you click on this data point, sample superstore. This kind of window would be available to you. Now, on the left hand side, you would see these are the data points which are there from the data source. This bin kind of shape represents the data source. This is again mentioned, the data source. Now, first of all, let us understand the data source and how is it related. Our query again remains that first we need to see how the database looks like. More or less, the database given to you resembles with this data that has an order ID, order date, shipping date, shipping mode, customer name, segment, country, region, city, postal code, etc. Again, sales, quantity, discount, then profit, profit ratio, few these things. And similarly, the small notation which is given atop also represented order date. There's a form of a calendar which is written. You can see this resembles to a calendar. It means there's a date function. Calendar, date function. ABC, which is the qualitative information or the dimension. ABC, qualitative. ABC, qualitative. Orders. Now these are the cities which are there, the geographies which are there. So what is there? A globe sign. Sign of a globe. 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 It means they are related to the postal codes, the state, and then if we see the category, ABC, subcategory. Now what I'm trying to show you is this hashtag. It is the number, the quantitative, the quantity, right? Or in Tableau we call it measure, the measures. And then there are some attachments and then there are profits. We can ignore it for the time being and reach our favorite spot, which was this canvas. Now we are here, and how do we start? Just let me have a look at the chat box if there's anything. Okay, what does it? This data set sits below. Okay, we'll address it, but are we able to reach this spot? Are we able to reach this destination? If we are able to, and I'm assuming most of them would be able to because we have told you to download Tableau in the last 1 hour and reach this destination. Now, this session, this workshop has this module which is aimed to see the geographical inputs. We have learned that if there is a sign of a globe, then it is related to a geography. If it is ABC, then it is related to qualitative information. And if the data point has hashtags, then it is related to a number. Now, if you click on Show Me button, click on Show Me and move, just give me, this is very distant, and move your cursor out here. Do a mouse over. It is called a mouse over. If you do a mouse over, just have a look at this section which is there. I scroll on the text tables. It says one or more dimension, one or more measures. Similarly, the graph that we would be working on during our exercise of this short-term training program are these two, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. In the first graph, if you would closely watch that there are some spots which are there on the map of a country or a world. Then if map of the world is being denoted by some dots, that is one kind of graph. And the second kind of graph is that where the map is filled with various colors. In this session, we would be working on only these two types of graphs. However, there are multiple graphs which are in the form of a tile, pie chart, a bar, etc., histogram, a scatter plot, or box and whisker. But here we would be working on these two bars. Now, the geographical representation traditionally has been happening like this. How do we do it? We pick up a spot we pick up a state. So state is a function that we would be using as part of the map which can be presented. We pick up a state and put up in the color piece, and then, so just give me a moment. So, and then we pick up the profit ratio. Now, what has happened? It has just come as a piece of paper. But on the contrary, without maps, generally, how do we do it? I want you to practice here. Without maps, if we want to put the sum in the form of a state-wise information, the sum which is of the profit, the sum of profit in the states, if we have to pick in the form of an information, traditionally, which is ancestrally, it used to come in the form. I will show you how to do it. Just give me a moment. I want to stop sharing and have a look at the, right. So Khyati, we will be taking one by one. I will show you all the ways how to do it, but the problem statement is what I wanted to tell. Just give me a moment. Okay. Now I'll just share my screen. Do you? Okay. You'll have to just focus for a while because I'm here and removing everything. For anything to be presented on a graph, you need binary information or bi information. So binary is not the right word. You need to have two information. One has to be there on the x-axis and the other one has to be there on the y-axis. We can plot name of the states on one of the axes and profits on the other axis. They have simply posted columns and rows. I'm starting with a very traditional process where the state will be dragged to the columns and profits would be dragged to the rows. Now, I dragged state to the profit and I dragged columns are represented as state and rows are represented as sum of profit. This does not excite me. You remember our presentation when I suggested that Excel will give us, the visualization tool Tableau will give us some of the other output, but it is we, the human, who has to decide. I remember I gave an example of my house where I tried to organize everything in a form, but it was a better visualization, which was wife in that case, who suggested that this is not the right way. Shall we try using this? How did I do it? There is one small option which is there right above the columns that swap rows and columns. Alternatively, if you create a fresh graph, bring profit in the columns and rows as state. So initially I plotted like this. I posted columns as state and rows as sum of profit. But if I reverse it, the picture is way better. Now, if the picture is way better, how can I further improve it? How are things going to improve at my end? It is the plain Jane information which was available. If I do the mouse over, information is available. But since I am working on geographic inputs, it is not something that I put in a lot of effort and will work for this. What is there, I have to do. I would request you to try and explore this piece at your end first, and then we will move ahead. Try to explore this piece at your end first. Without maps, and swapping the fields. Try to stitch this piece at your end so that we move further and learn the problem statement. Now, what is this button? Look at this button atop. Descending order. See, I am putting things in a various order. I am putting things in ascending order, and visualization is getting better. See, visualization has got better. Just by putting things in the descending order or the ascending order, things are getting betterly visualized. We were here, you remember, we were here when we put a state as rows, profit as columns, and simply clicked here. It has helped me to see the descending order of the profit of the states. I request you to practice before we move ahead, because on the face of it, it looks fine, but I want you to practice it. What is that I have done? I have dragged profit from here and dropped in the label. How does it help? It has posted a number against each field. I will do it again for you. This is something I had to do mouse over every point in time. The information is called a label. If this information of profit against New York is visible, it is called a label. In Excel, you do add data label, where add data label option crops up. But here, we have to click on profit and drag it to the label and drop here. Doing this, profit has got a number against each state. I am practicing here and I have given number to each state. I want you to practice because this session is aimed at giving geographical inputs using Tableau. Remember, in Excel, I was not able to do it. For this, I had to first create a pivot table of state-wise information and then move on to creating tables or graphs. And then it was not that easy for me to make ascending orders, add labels, descending orders. See, things are happening so quickly that, these are the options which are making losses and these are the options which are incurring profits. Very easy to interpret state, and the profit is there as the x-axis, and on the y-axis information has been mentioned. I want you to practice for a minute before we move ahead. Please practice. I would suggest to practice once. Wonderful. So Kavita has suggested done, Radhakrishnan done, Anshul also being very quick, and maybe the youngest in the batch, because we have a lot of teachers and researchers here. So very nice. Swati has also confirmed. Wonderful. This gives confidence to you as well, not just me that, okay, I have been able to do it. Now, if this was the option, I could have still suggested that, Tableau only saves time, but there are further options to it. Now, we would be working on something like this, or maybe something like this. This is what we want. I promised you that we will begin with the end in mind. The end in mind says that I have to plot the sales or maybe profits on the map of the country, and every state will be given a color that would essentially represent the sale as part of the visualization. And it will not be a graph, it will be the map of the country that will be used. If we relate this figure and have a look for a couple of minutes, we would see that this says the state-wise sales of the business or the data point, and the sum of the sales is represented by a color. Darker the color, more is the sale. Lighter the color, less is the sale. Forget the filters which are there. Just focus on the diagram. Just focus on the picture. If I as a researcher is doing survey and have filled some questionnaire, the information of the questionnaire from the respondents can be slotted or plotted on the graph of a country or the map of the country. Now, this is for a researcher, but how do I do it? You go to a blank sheet. How do you go to a blank sheet? You can go and file and then open a new sheet. Otherwise, you can click on the new worksheet. So the new worksheet opens. It's a blank tool. It's a blank canvas that has opened for you. I want in your individual capacities to try. Just give me a moment. So it says sharing is paused. So to try, and let's click on the show me, click on this type of graphs and look what it is saying. For maps, try, just have a look at this mouse over. The moment I remove mouse, I won't be able to freeze. But on the right hand side of your screen, on the center, it says one geo dimension, one geo. 0 or more dimensions, 1 or more measures. Now we had geo dimensions, and I want to bring 4 of these geo dimensions to your notice. Now, how do I do it? Can I try using state? Can I try to bring state to the table here? What happens? My God, the country is seen as the form of a dot. Now, what if I try to bring profit here? What if I try to bring profit here? Is it happening? Is it working? If I bring profit here, is it working? No. How do I do it? So I want you to practice. I've already done some sheets for you. If I click on the color, remember we had a graph where I would pick profit from one place and post on the color. But trust me, I do not get excited with this kind of graph, because I told you in the visualization, if these are the dots which are there, they are not going to create a huge difference. They are not going to create. I have plotted this graph in advance for you where the colors are mentioned against each. Now, even if one tries this kind of a graph, I'm going back and try to add profit in the label. Is it looking awesome? No, it is just looking good. What do I do? However, I would make it a point here that the color of the ball, which is there, the color is representing the profit. So if it is yellow in color, it is a loss. And if it is blue in color, it is profit. But trust me, the dots, when it comes to a huge screen, when you are presenting, not excite the audience. I want you to practice a graph straight away looking at this graph of mine. This is your practice exercise because I have already, in the interest of time, created some graphs for you so that you practice at your end. And try to create this kind of a graph where you would be able to see information on the graph part of it. You have to try and practice that how the details are mentioned here. And I would be very happy if one of you would do it and explain that and post on the chat box that I have done it. This is what you have to begin with the end in mind. You are using Tableau. I have not done any magic here. This is a simple exercise that I have created. The labels have been given labels at a later stage, but how information, see, very easy, longitude, latitude here, some sales and state, that's it. Very simple activity, but you have to practice. Try and post on the chat box if you are able to do it. We are welcoming response on the chat box. Try to create this kind of a graph. The data set is already there with you. We can practice, but I want you to attempt first. So Anshul has done, Radhakrishna done, M. Kavita done. Tried, very nice. Got, wonderful. Awesome. So we have opted for consumer furniture. We took sum of sales. So this point represents the sales in Washington. My mouse over points the sales in Illinois, and this mouse over points the sales in Texas. I could not have got the label, but I brought the profit from here, the sales from here, and posted in the labels window so that I was able to see the sales. So that's how I would have dragged it when I created it and designed it. Now, this is done, and I want you to rename your work in the Excel sheet and put state-wise sales. So it is the state-wise sales. So you keep the name like this, state-wise sales. Now, we started with the problem statement that organization, if I refer your chat boxes, you need to give me a minute. So this was your chat box, and we started at, just give me a minute so that I can open it. This one, yeah. So this chat box, when we started at 2 p.m., you suggested that postal code, state, city, region, product category, state, province, latitude, longitude, region-wise profit sales, and these things, region-wise product demand and bottom line. So I was fairly impressed, but when we started this session, we could not anticipate that maybe in next half an hour's time, we would be able to plot all these information on the graph of a country in the state-wise manner. So that is the beauty of Tableau. Now someone is asking how to change the color palette. If you go to color and click on edit colors, so this is the option where you can change colors. So if we are working on profit, you can pick any color from here of your choice and click on OK. I hope our dear participant has got the answer that how to change the color, and yeah. So Satyamurthy ji, you would have got the answer that how to, I want you to practice to change the color as well. Opacity. See the output. See the output. So 80% I think is the right impact. Automatic effects, hello, but you click on the color and edit colors. Try at your end. Try at your end. If you go to advanced and then there are a lot of options, but I do not want you to do it. So click here and see the options out here. So green is something if it represents profits, and this is what I would be happy about. More it is green and more it is the sales that are happening at your end. I again want you to practice the state-wise profits in the same manner. This is the state-wise sales. You can practice state-wise profit. Just replace the sales by state. How do you remove it? You click and drop here. Or alternatively, if you click here, so this is a shortcut. If you click here and click on this, it completely clears the screen. If you click on the profit angle of it, try to bring the profit piece. How will you do it? Where would you drag it? Practice, practice. That is going to help you. Try to practice yourself, explore yourself so that you would learn better. Very nice. People have started changing the inputs, and I really appreciate when the participants do. Now, others who have not done, I want you to practice for a while once more. Now, once this is done, does our job completes here? Is it the end of the task? Trust me, when we discussed in the morning that this is the first cut, you can say that this is the overall gross information that we have for the organization. What if someone asks you that I do not want the entire information, I had the furniture category. I had the furniture category. Just show me the furniture inputs. And beside me, someone is sitting who heads the office supplies and is interested in only office supplies. How would you go about it? There is a field called filters here. There is a field called filters here where I want you to drag a category field. If you click on the category field, it gives you an option of which one to select. Say a furniture. Now, this information now belongs only to the furniture category. Just the furniture category. But if you want more information, then again you go to show filter. The filter will be shown here. The filter comes out to be here, and you want, okay, sir, you had office supplies. See, just see the time which is being invested. If somebody says, I am the head of technology, I want to see technology, show me technology. I will unclick and click on technology. If I want to see office supplies as well as technology, I would click, and this is the double information that is coming. If I want to see all three, I would click on all and see the graphs are changing. I want you to practice filters along with the state-wise inputs. Please try and practice. Do not, just stick to the category piece of it. Okay. Now, Just try and practice filters and more filters so that you are able to see that you click on the show filter so that you are aware. Somebody comes into you and say that, okay, I am the sales manager for furnishings. Can you show me my data point? You would say what? 5 seconds? These were the information where Excel or my traditional tools were lacking. I want you to practice this kind of information, statewise sales, click on rename, type an option with filters. So that's how you keep on creating sheets and sheets, and then you create stories and then you create dashboards. But that's how I want you to practice this kind of information. And I also want the participants out here to practice some more geographical input apart from sales and profit. You may try for discounts. You can also try two-dimensional sales as well as discounts together. How would you do it? How are you going to do it? That's what you have to see. How multiple things can be posted and how inputs can be given. So I have done a copy paste here. I have clicked on a copy, and then I have clicked on a paste on the empty sheet. So my original doesn't goes anyway. So that's the rule of copy paste. And this is my experimenting sheet that I am going to do. My original is safe. I will be experimenting here. And with sales, I also want to practice the profit which is happening, or maybe the discounts. Let us try with profit and see how do I do it. I want you to practice at your end. Try and practice. Where do I drop? Should I drop here? Is it going to help? No, it is not going to help. I want to practice profit along with my sales. Is my color going to help? Yes, it is. But where is my sales going? It is just my profit. So keep practicing, because the intent is to have you expert for the tool, and once you do it, you would be able to practice better. But again, click on the show me. How does it help? 1 or 2, 0 to 2 measures, maximum 2 measures. How many measures have we added? So in 1.5 hour discussion, we want you to practice and energize in the domain of Tableau. What are the various geographical inputs from this particular session that you want to obtain from any data set you can practice? I want you to continue to practice and let me know for anything. I want everyone to practice at least one option, at least one sheet from your side. Any one input of your choice. Yes, duplicate can also be used. Wyoming is having 0 sales, wonderful. So Satyamurthy has given a very valid input that the intent is not to create. So let me just share the screen. Now, may I also request the participants to have some insights. We have been practicing and we will continue to practice the kind of inputs we are getting from Tableau in the form of a graph. Any participant is free to post an insight for the organization basis the geographical input. Any insight, I repeat, basis the geographical input. You can use filters. You can use category in the filter part. We are happy. My first input is North Dakota has 0 sale of furniture. So what will I do as a user? And it is a kind of musical chair where you cannot post the same input again. So North Dakota, so this is the input from my side, and I would post it to you. North Dakota has 0 sales of furniture. So this is my input 1. So I request anyone can, just look at the previous serial number and post their input. Not necessarily in terms of sales, not necessarily in terms of profit, not necessarily in terms of category of furniture or maybe anything else. Show filters and maybe on the terms of office supplies. Not see, Wyoming has 0 office supplies. If there has to be a second input, so Wyoming is another state. Wyoming has 0 sales of office supplies. So these are the kind of inputs that I want the participants to write in the chat box so that they are confident that they have derived this information. And again, going back from the Samudra Manthan, what are the valuable inputs that you have brought? So you are free to use the chat box, and then more the inputs here, we would discuss it further. That's how the flow has been designed. Any participant can post any relevant input basis his understanding. New York has highest sales of machines. Wonderful. Wonderful. Can someone try for discounts? What's the level of discounts that are being given away? Is it a good thing? Discount is in terms of percentages. Discounts is a field under the measure names. It's the first field. As an organization, my job is to give the lowest discounts. Which is the state which is giving the highest discount is our next query. You can always try. We're looking for the state with the highest discount and state with the lowest discount. Wonderful. Texas and Illinois has 80% discount. Okay. So in terms of percentage, which one is giving the highest discount is the question. No, overall at the state level, what is the average discount? Average discount at a state level. Plotted for the discounts. Average discount, these are the labels. Very nice. So see, very wonderful inputs are coming in. California has highest some sales. California has highest some profit of wonderful Anshul. Then Vikrant is also giving some input, and then discount minus 42.5 for technology. Wonderful. The next level, California, and then you are mentioning for the for the details. Then Texas and Illinois has 80%. So this is what I find more appropriate. Oh, no problem. So simply, what did we do to see the state-wise discount? Brought the city here, then the discounts to the colors, and then the discounts to the labels, and hardly 3 seconds. These are my good states, not giving discounts. These are the states that are giving a dent to the organization, increasing the profit, and so increasing the sales by virtue of the discounts. There is a huge possibility that undercutting is happening. So this is again a problem in the organization, that if you would see here, and I request everyone's attention here, that if this state, Illinois, is giving high discounts and the neighboring states are not giving discounts. See, these are the neighboring states. Can someone tell what is the possibility of goods being supplied from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, from here to here, as this is the epicenter of discount? Similarly, 32% goods being supplied here, supplied here, supplied here. And I will also share a live example with you that, do you think that, goods are being transited? Very nice. So I'll give you an example. When I was working in Mumbai, it's around 2010. So I was working in Mumbai and I was a data analyst there. So there is a place called Thane, which is around 50 kilometers from Mumbai. So a place 50 kilometers away had a huge price difference in terms of each product vis-a-vis Mumbai. So first railway track was also from Mumbai to Thane, which is 52 kilometers. So no discounts at one place vis-a-vis huge discounts at other place, because there was an octroi policy in Mumbai. So goods used to supply from Thane to Mumbai. Huge sales used to happen in Thane, but the primary sales from the organization to the distributor. The distributor further used to send it to its other branch in Mumbai, because there was no octroi there within the organization distributor level, and then it used to sell. So for instance, good was selling to customer at this place and to consumer at this place. This is the customer in that case, and here are the consumers. So different interpretations can be obtained using these kind of geographical inputs, because if there are discounts, either the competition is there or something fishy is happening. Something which is happening is denting or giving dent to the organization. If you plot it here on this graph, it is easy to understand. Had this plot not been there, and similar type of graph was there, discount, the decision was not that easy. So remember, the intent is to tell you that here, the discount is again zero, but the kind of input that the organization want, I will have to relate it to the political map and then think that, okay, where is Florida? How is it far from, Georgia? Is it related, not related? See, the thinking has to be 10 times. But if, as a smart player, you have plotted on this kind of a map of the country or the continent, it is easy for the management to take informed decision, which is the real objective. This small state here is giving 33%. Large state here are giving 7%. Makes sense. Less customers, small states, maybe, these are the popular state. But what is happening? Why is this state surrounded by so many states is coming as to be an outlier? So these are the kind of inputs that organizations seek for, and tools like Tableau have been designed for. So these are the kind of inputs that one can bring from such kind of tools. So I hope you have enjoyed the session, and I also hope that you have been able to practice Tableau at your end. And there may be more exercises related, but again, the rule of the game remains the same. This is how we are going to proceed in our journey. And this upcoming STTP would have a lot of sessions. I know a lot of people who are experts in their domain area would be taking your session, maybe in terms of dashboards, tableaus, and calculated fields and whatnot. But this is the beginning, and I think all of you are now well versed that why and which type of graph is better suited for a better input and a better informed decision making, especially as far as geographical inputs are concerned. And I think that was it from my side. And I really, enjoyed when you were giving inputs on the chat box. And trust me, when our esteemed participants are giving that Illinois has the highest average discount of 39%, California discount is this, and California's highest sum profit, every single input was loved. And I really admire that each one of you was putting in effort and working at their end and has gained a transferable skill that they would be telling their students or maybe audience at one stage. The presentation is already there with you. Everything is there. Now, I would again take a minute, and as a teacher, and the organizers know that I would be giving a book as a token of gesture from my side, and I will be sharing. So the book is Discovering Statistics, and it is on Andy. It is by Andy Field of Sage Publication, 850 pages, and I would be forwarding it to Dr. Anant. He's one of the organizing member and a very dear friend, and I have shared the book with you, and I would request him to share it with my dear participants as a keepsake and a gift from a teacher, and I request you to accept it with my heartfelt thanks. Any questions are welcome. Any inputs from the organizers are most welcome.
Any questions from the participants? So there is a question from participant Kavita. How to create heat map using Tableau?
Okay. So Kavita, I think I would be in a better position to send it to your email ID, the details and some of the sample maps. And with the permission, you can share your email ID with the organizers. I would take it from the organizer and would send a detail about it at a later stage. Hope you don't mind. And trust me, it would come to you. Yeah. So we have received Kavita's ID, and Kavita, the response would be shared to you by end of the day. And so actually, I was not confident. I thought the session is till 3:30, so there's a session that is scheduled. So that was a confusion that happened. So it would be great if you can bear with me and would wait for the email, and the organizers would be marked. It would be shared on your email by end of the evening. Thank you, Kavita.
There is a question from participant Anshul. What does it mean sets below measures in this data set, sir?
So Anshul, can you please unmute and tell me the exact question?
Sir, in my Tableau, I have seen that there is a set top customer by profit. So what does it mean, sir?
So very in your Tableau, where is it?
Sir, I can
Okay,
share
sort customer by.
sir, top customers by profit.
Okay, so see Anshul, you would remember we have set it in the descending order and the ascending order.
Yes, sir.
So stock customer by profit is again, sorting, putting the customers with the highest profit on the top and, the lowest profit on the bottom, or maybe setting in the order. So sorting is a process where you can organize the data set in an order, could be ascending or descending. So that's how it would be working, I think, or I'm not sure, but from on your system again, right above the columns, there's an option of sorting.
Yes, sir.
So that's how you can sort the customers. We sorted the states. Anshul, you would remember we have sorted
Yes,
the states on the basis of their sales and profit. So that's
Yes, sir.
same thing.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So I am noting down questions, and please pardon my, inability to take up all the questions. But I am noting down questions. So Kavita, I have got another question. Map projections are possible using Tableau for geospatial data. So I am also taking this question, and it will be responded with the. I hope you don't mind, but even I was not expecting so. But there's something that has come up at 3:30, and I informed them that the session is of 1.5 hours. So that's what rose the confusion. But the queries will be responded by end of the evening on your email IDs. Hope that works for you. Yeah.
Any more queries from the participants?
I've noted the queries. Any more queries are most welcome. Extremely most welcome, I would say. And just my bad for, for a quick exit.
So there's a question from Swati.
Yep. So I have taken note. Geospatial data, how can be analyzed? Swati Moria, I guess SK Somaiya, Mumbai, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I have noted, and the response would be shared with Swati in some time. I'm noting the information. Yeah, Swati, I have noted your question posted at 3:24. It will be responded by me only by evening. Metadata extraction. So I have also noted this question. So I shall be noting all the questions. And since these are individual questions, ma'am, so generally I have seen this format that I think others who may be getting engaged in some other assignment. So the questions, individual questions will be responded to individuals, and they're their questions. So I think serves the purpose. Yeah. So Satyamurthy, I have got your ID at the rate cbr.ac.in. It will be responsive. Yeah. So I think we have noted down all the questions. So Swati, your ID is also there. Yeah. So a quick question from the industry, which is medical science. So Sudhir has asked the question, but again, the medical science has, so I have worked with an organization and still working with them. They are into the, okay, they are into the domain of not exactly medical science, but the medical equipment. So they use these kind of graphs to understand the demand and supply in a particular geography. If we talk about only geographical inputs, the demand and supply for the inputs, and the organizations who are currently doing businesses, they are working towards what are the kind of responses about the products we are getting from a particular geography. I know an organization, it is called Evox. I consult for them, and they are the world's first creator of, uh, they have got oxygen respirators and inverter technology respirators. But they just want to experience the, the kind of responses the the users are giving to them. One fine day, they wanted to see the geographical responses and wanted to deploy that, where do we need to push more in terms of customer service and demonstrations. So wherever the customer ranking in the geography or the review ranking in the geography was lesser, they created the dedicated customer support team. So that is how the organization use. So that's what the things are happening. So since it was an industry question, so industry questions are generally common for all. But my intent was that since it is anything related to technology and anyone is getting stuck, so I would respond in person, because I'll have to again give a demo in that case. So I would share the snapshots and would revert it by evening or late tonight. So Kanimuji ma'am. Yeah, ma'am. So the questions, I have noted them all, and I have noted their email IDs as well. Rest assured, the responses will be shared to them by me. Otherwise, I'm also available on LinkedIn. And trust me, I am a happy teacher and always glad to respond to the queries. And doesn't matter how much time it takes, but the satisfaction of the participant is my prime objective. And trust me, all of you would be satisfied by the responses that would be shared on your emails by me. Rest assured.
A big thank you for demonstrating the geographic visualization in simple steps. The way you explained the hands-on session was outstanding, sir. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for having me. I am really grateful to the entire organizing committee as well as my respected participants. And I'm very happy that dear students are also there. So I would take your last line and say my heartfelt thanks to great audiences as well as to the active participants. Thank you, IFET College of Engineering, for having me, and indeed a wonderful opportunity and an amazing opportunity for having me on this forum. And I am really touched by the feeling that I have spoken to a lot of teachers and students, and trust me, it gives me a great pleasure and would really look forward to having associated with each one of you in one or the other form.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, please fill the feedback form that has been posted in the chat box. It will be active only for 15 minutes. Hope today's session would have been extremely informative and valuable. We'll meet tomorrow morning once again at 10 a.m. to gather more insights on Tableau. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, participants. I shall be leaving from here. I'm sorry for my bad,
This
but
is
that's what I took the session at 3:30 and there was a call scheduled. So my bad for that. And thank you and have a great day. Thank you so much.